right, welcome back, everybody. That stupid link.
The wrong one. I cannot get rid of it.
I saw it. That's why I pulled it down real quick.
You put it up, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
I have to just go live by myself on Facebook to see if I can fix it.
Oh, well, that's the way to start off the show. Anyways, welcome back, everybody, to Dash Reading, the Real Creators Corner. I'm your host, Dash. My co-host, the awesome Chris Brown, is here with us. And we got special guests today. Ed, my co-host from the First Impressions, and Miss Laurie Calcaterra, the awesome Laurie Calcaterra, is here with us tonight. And how was everybody's 250th birthday yesterday?
I looked at the night sky and all I saw was stars. We had a botched fireworks show.
We had rain. Chris and I were sitting there talking about. I'm like, dude, I'm about to get rained out. He's like, me too.
We had a great day. We had great weather. We barbecued. We floated in the pool. We played games. We ate food. We saw the whatchamacallit. That's the right link. Thank you.
That's the right link.
I'll put it back here too, just for you.
My head would be not whatever. We actually got to see a drone show and then a fireworks show.
Cool.
So it was really cool. Mm-hmm.
We saw like 10 fireworks, and then everyone left the church, and we're right there. So it didn't really affect us. It's like, okay, well, I guess we just walk back to our house, but we're ready there. We're ready to film, and my daughter's got her good camera out to do it, and we're just sitting there like, maybe. Then one would go off like, oh, wait, that's it. And it was the hugest fail, and our street was crowded with cars because everybody parks and infiltrates the street, and they're just walking away disappointed. So it was a sad night of fireworkless sky, except for the illegal the illegal fireworks came out in full force after that. So we got a little bit of a show.
No, sometimes when like we're good here, but like I know there was times in like when I lived in Midwest City, Edmond, things like that. There was some of the better fireworks with the people that were doing it.
Oh
illegally.
yeah,
There's nothing more American than doing that.
Right.
They canceled all the fireworks shows, and in 2020 it was the most vivid fireworks show that never ended. We just went to the top of this hill by our house, watched it for about an hour, and the entire horizon was just filled with nonstop fireworks. I'm like, all right, thank you, people, for just saying, all right, you're going to cancel fireworks. We'll do all the fireworks.
Right. It's just like, we're American. What do you think this day is about? It's when we were like, sorry, you can't tell us what to do anymore. Right?
We're going to blow shit up. No kings. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Just let off all of them.
It was crazy. And it's not like we live that far from, we're right next to Arizona, and we're right next to Nevada, where you can go by all the illegals pretty easily. And that's apparently what they did. And we just sat on the top of the hill. We're like, all right, how long are we going to watch? We could pretend that this is the finale, I guess, play some patriotic music on Spotify, give it like 20 minutes, and then go home, because it was never ending.
Yeah. You go get those Joe Dirt. You go get those Joe Dirt fireworks in Arizona and Nevada.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can get some crazy stuff.
Been watching TikToks. I love the ones that are like, you're at the 4th of July eating food, and all of a sudden one of your Hispanic relatives lights off El Diablo, and it's just like, and it lands and just blows up the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
That's funny. Oh, yeah. We, like I said, it was rained out here, and I think ours is on the 11th.
Okay.
The 11th is when we're getting ours.
Oh, they're going to actually do one? I don't know if they're going to do a makeup. I guess we'll find out if it just starts sounding like the world's exploding. We'll just be like, cool, let's go down to the corner.
What is that?
Oh! Apocalypse, but either way, I'm getting out of my house.
Well, that's what Creators Corner is all about, is illegal fireworks and
tangents. Yeah, well, we're no strangers to tangents on my shows.
So that's true.
I was like, my husband's like, how long is your show today? An hour. And then I was like, Ed's on? No, it'll be more than that.
Longer.
Like the 4 of us together. No.
Longer.
3-4 months.
Yeah, 3 to 4 business weeks.
3 to 4 business days. Yeah.
Pack a lunch, because it's going to be an all-day affair. Is what I always say. Well, we have two creators here that apparently don't believe in death
Or happy endings.
and happy
Yeah.
endings. But we'll get to their Kickstarters here in just a minute. But I thought we would talk about, well, The Walking Dead. It's not necessarily the same. I mean, because there is dead people, but they never die. And I thought that would be a cool topic today. We'll dive into the TV show, the comics, and the books, and the all the good stuff. But one of the questions that always, and I want to get your all's take on it. One of the questions I've always been asked, and how I would feel is, we all started with Rick and his gang,
Mhm.
right? We're all Rick. We're all up on Rick. What if we had started out with Negan's gang? Would we treat Negan any different, and would we treat Rick's group any differently? So I'll start with you, Miss Laurie. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. Because I mean, like, even when they told the story, if you pay attention, like, they had really no major interaction. And then Rick's crew went in there and killed a bunch of people.
Mhm.
So Rick is really the agitator. But then, I mean, yes and no. Let me go back a step, because from the beginning it seems like that way. But then when you get into Negan's group and you see like how he's treating women, how he's treating the group itself, and like how it's really kind of not that great, it would change your perspective immediately too. So I don't know. I kind of half and half. Yeah.
What about you, Ed?
I think Negan could be a little more sympathetic if we started with him, but like Laurie said, he's still not a great guy, and he's still ruling by force, even with his own group. And Rick seems a little bit better, but I mean, I think in the end, what we learn in Walking Dead is the humans are the real villains. The zombies just do what zombies do. It's like, you can't get mad at a dog for being a dog. You can't get mad at a zombie for being a zombie. But the humans surrounding the zombies, like, all right, you have a brain. You could have made a better choice, and you didn't.
Yeah.
Anything to add? Anything to add there, co-host Chris?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if you started with following Negan, it would be more the frog in the boiling water, where you would end up, like, you start off when he's not that bad of a guy. Maybe as it goes along, you become more understanding as to why he has to be the way he is, because he changes then after. He doesn't have to be that guy anymore.
Yeah.
So was he really a bad guy, or was he a bad guy as a victim of circumstance?
Yeah.
That's the question I've always see. That's a good point, because he does change in what Dead City. Is it Dead City, the one where him and
Maggie
are in? I
didn't see coming.
Yeah. I think that was because people, we as fans and things like that, tend to treat our comics one way and our TV shows another way, because, like, for the most part, the comics are just for certain people. But for TV shows, I think you get, and don't anybody take offense to this, like, it's called normies, because the normies will watch the TV shows or they'll watch the movies, and I think the normies drive how we feel about certain characters as well. Or how characters change in a TV show. I mean, there's lots of good examples, like Urkel. Urkel was only supposed to be on for a couple episodes, and it turned into the Urkel show, and things like that. So I think people really like Negan for the most part, other than the Glenn thing. But, again, if you were a comic book fan, you knew what was happening to Glenn no matter what.
Yeah, you were ready for that.
I know people were. I thought it was hilarious when people were like, I couldn't watch after what happened to Glenn. I was like, did you not read the comic? I was like, because this was true to what happened.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to Abraham was different. I was like, but this is what happens to Glenn, and like, it's legit.
Yeah, it was in the books, but I think people were hoping, if they did know the book, they were hoping they'd change it.
They would change it up.
Been known to do that. But if they didn't read the book, they wouldn't have known it was coming. It's kind of like everything in Game of Thrones. For the first few seasons, if you had read the books, you're just waiting for those major moments and watching. Like, I'm just watching watching April on the couch, looking over like, okay, I'm
There
ready
you
for
go.
this. I'm ready to watch her jaw drop.
Well,
And I think the same was true with Walking Dead, but people maybe hoped that they would change it. But if you'd watched it far enough through, you know, all right, well, they've killed everyone else who's supposed to die. What makes you think Glenn's safe? Just because we like the
Yeah. But it
I mean,
was
and
just such a big moment, you know what I mean, for that group, for Rick's group. It changed everything in their dynamic when they watched that in the book and in the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That I was like, they're gonna have to do it. You
Yeah.
know, it would be out of character for them, or you know, they could have done it to somebody else. But I really feel like they had to do that.
They had to.
Um,
Yeah,
I-
absolutely had to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You
I was
have to
gonna
change.
say
You have
about
to change.
Negan, I wonder how much of, because again, like when you know Negan's background, it was him and his wife, and she was dying of cancer, right?
Yep.
And so he started out as this kind of good guy, and was forced to make decisions because of his circumstances. But where he was at the end, I feel like a lot of it was theatrics.
Oh,
That
it
he was
was.
doing stuff to control people. And he was such a charismatic guy, but he was doing, because we saw this in other examples in Walking Dead too, with Ezekiel and his tiger. It's like it was theatrics, but they used that to control the masses, to keep people afraid, you know, and to follow directions. So even though he was not really the best guy, he kept people in line, which is better than what some of the other ones did.
Well, see,
Yeah,
that
I
was
think-
Rick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Listen, I think the governor was worse, and they took one of his
Governor
worst
was worse.
things that he did out of the show
Mm.
because he was not pleasant to that lady.
No.
No.
They changed the gov. That was, yeah, they changed the governor, and I think they didn't know if they could get away with
Yeah.
the governor
With how he treated Michonne.
with how he treated Michonne, with
And
how
also how he treated Rick. Like, I think they dodged a bullet with that one. They were like, we cannot green screen a hand. But they did it later in the show.
yeah, they did. Well, they gave it to what's his name's character first. The guy Ross Marquardt's character. I can never think of his name.
Yeah.
They gave it to Ross's character first, and then they got it. They when nobody said it or did anything or complained about Ross, then they went ahead and did it with Rick and going forward.
spinoff?
So, yeah, on the spinoff. So
I didn't watch the spinoff.
I didn't watch anything
Oh,
after
not-
he got on the
I mean-
helicopter.
Not bad.
Right.
Not,
I haven't
not,
seen Rick since he left.
Not bad. I think it was too short, and they tried to cram too much into too short of a season because it was always going to be a one season with Rick and Michonne.
Yeah.
But see, with Walking, I treat Walking Dead the same way I do treat Game of Thrones. Is that there is really no, for the most part, there is no protagonist in a way. I mean, maybe the kids, maybe Carl, maybe Judith, but for the adults, there really is no protagonist because they're all doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
You know, the only protagonist I ever felt like in Game of Thrones was Ed Stark or Ned.
Ned Stark.
Ned Stark,
yeah.
yeah, Ned Stark was the only protagonist, even though he did kind of, I mean, he wasn't dirty, but he wasn't like,
He was a liar.
well, for a reason.
For a reason, but still a liar.
Yeah.
True. That's I said he might be the only one that's close enough to a protagonist.
Hmm.
But you know, I mean, because I probably the only one I probably, if we started with the governor and they showed what the governor did in the comics, I probably would have turned the TV off.
Yeah.
The comics is fine, but I probably would have turned the TV show off. But had they started with Negan, I probably would have, and y'all can get mad at me and say I'm crazy. I probably would have been sympathetic more to Negan than I was to Rick.
Really?
Because Rick was too reluctant. Rick was reluctant to do a lot of things until the Negan storyline.
Was
least
he
in my-
though?
in my
Like, after
opinion, he was-
Laurie dies and the
What?
baby dies in the book, like he's in
Mhm.
Well, in the book, different. I'm talking TV show. I'm talking
okay.
straight up TV show.
Yeah.
All
TV Rick and Book Rick definitely veer
Definitely.
a lot of
Yeah, Rick was very reluctant to do a lot of things that he probably, that's the only thing. That's the only problem I had with the TV show was Rick should have been more like comic book Rick. Didn't have to, or certain things. I'm glad, like there's people I'm glad they killed off in the TV show that they didn't kill off in the
Comic.
in the comic. Like, glad they, they're. That's a whole nother story, but yeah, I just think Rick was too reluctant, and I probably, like I said, the take charge that Negan was. I mean, I think you have to. I mean, and it's. I mean, I see it some of the things in your guys' books, and this is why I'm tying Walking Dead and these things into your book, because I see you have very take charge people, and that's what got me thinking was who would you go? Would you change it up? Would you, Laurie? Who in yours would you reverse if you could with Jude? Who would you reverse? Who would be the reverse? If we're saying Negan's the reverse of Rick, who in your world would be the reverse of Jude? Without giving, if you don't have to give away spoilers if you don't want to, but
well, I'm just going to
somebody
use
we've already seen.
Someone that we've already seen. It's probably Jimmy. Jimmy from Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who is just this same thing, sarcastic bastard, and he survived just as long as Jude has, but kind of runs the town. And people do what he says, and even like the sheriff is just like, you gotta get out of town because Jimmy's gonna get you before in other words, the sheriff's like, I have no power here. Like
he's no Chad Windsor. That sheriff is no Chad Windsor. That's all I'll say.
No, he was just like Jimmy's gonna get you if you don't get out of town, right?
I thought you were gonna go Skinner on it.
Skinner's not technically in the book yet.
I know.
So Skinner, you actually do see in the book, but he's like,
he's way background. He's way background.
Blink and you miss him for the moment.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not. Skinner has not made an appearance in the first 8 that we've seen. Skinner does show up like in the second arc. So we're talking about this character, the Skinner. He's actually in the Choose Your Own Adventure book, and he is terrifying. He's this bounty hunter, and he
reminds me of the ghoul from. He reminds me of
like
the
a ghoul, but he has pieces of other people stitched to himself, which breaks the rules of Path. If you think about it,
we're gonna find out why.
Yeah,
but there's a reason why, and so like when you go in the Choose Your Own Adventure book, if you choose this bounty, you find out that he's actually called the bounty on himself because he needs more parts. And so when you show up, there's only one way to kill him. You gotta use your noggin to get him, but if you don't, then he skins you and he adds pieces of you to his face because he's needs a touch up.
There might be some of me on the Skinner.
Did you lose?
Yeah, I lost to this. Yeah, remember I lost. I haven't won any of them.
Come on, you know how Path works.
I know, but it was fun. I wanted to do the opposite when we did it. I wanted to. I was trying to play the game, if you will, but.
I want to see if someone would shoot the kid or not. That's what I want to know. You get to that point because there's a spot where I make you choose.
Dustin. His name Dustin.
Oh yeah, we should play with Dustin and be like, Dustin, are you shooting this kid? He's like, ask say less. Pull the trigger.
Ed, what about you? Who would be your opposite if you were to rewrite this and take it from the opposite point of view? Which character would we be following instead of your main characters?
Koa and his gang in the wastelands.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the opposite. And as a child, his father got, well, not killed because you don't die, but his father got really basically destroyed by Father. But Father had a perfectly good reason to do it. And you're on his side because, I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but Father is justified in the decision he makes. But if we had watched Koa and his gang, rising up, and we see him watching his father be destroyed by Father, basically losing his cognitive function. So his dad is now just a husk.
Yeah.
We can sympathize with him, but when we watch the things they do, the tournaments they force people to go into, and all of the awful things they do, you'd still end up siding. But if you started with them, you'd wonder, okay, they've made this functioning civilization in the middle of the desert. Are they doing what they need to do to survive in this kind of broken world? But I think in the end, you'd see, just like with Negan, he's still just terrible. Yeah. And the things he does are just terrible. But that would be the opposite, where you could watch it, the rise of that town in the wasteland.
Is it
I
is it
like-
bad though
like
that I
that
like
show.
Koa?
You like
What about
Koa?
Koa?
I
Sorry.
like Koa. I like Koa as a
No,
character.
you're not supposed to like Koa.
They
I was
wanted
like,
to make
I
it-
like the genre where like you're being told the story from this source and you think they're the good guy,
Mhm.
and then partway through the story you realize like, oh no, this is not
Yeah.
the good guy. Like, what are we doing?
Hmm.
Yeah, and then is destroying immortality a good thing? I mean, is it something, because that's their goal, and there's plenty of people who would see them as villains for that, but they're probably in their 30s or 40s, not their 200s.
Right.
So
Right.
you're gonna look at it like, wait, no, don't steal my immortality. I don't want to think about dying eventually. If they're the more elite. So I mean, there's ways you could do it. I could write it from the Coven's point of view
Yeah,
as well.
the Coven's point of view would be sweet.
The Coven's point of view, and actually I have it noted out where we're gonna see, because it's every 1,000 years that they get the chance to make immortality happen. So we're gonna see what happened in the year 1900.
Cool.
So there's a side story. Of course, it wouldn't be the same coven, but it would be this generational coven. So that's something I want to do, where the near miss that they had that 1,000 years ago, because it's every 1,000 years the opportunity presents itself. So that's another way you could write it, is from the coven, from these struggles, and see Tristessa growing up in this if you fail us, we'll kill you kind of thing, because this coven doesn't play.
Now I want it.
So that'll be a little side story that I'll write, kind of like when we one of these things where we'll take a pause like we did with Father, and we have the full backstory, and it would be Tristessa, the coven's failure the first time, and then seeing how they groomed her of failures not tolerated. Here's the heads of the witches who have failed us before. So yeah, I've already thought about looking at that. And then, oh my gosh, I have a really good scene with Koa and Father that I've written it. I'm so excited about it, but it won't be until issue 17, and I'm just like, damn, it's too good. But yes, in these issues, I guess something to look forward to in issue 17. But yeah, we're not done with Koa, obviously. We've seen little snippets of him through this story arc, but he's more pushed aside. And then the next story arc, we're going right back to the wasteland. So, or go there properly, because we've only been there in the past.
I'm just smiling because I can't wait to read your book.
I know. I listen. I like Koa, and in that, well, I like Koa in that Negan kind of, like I said, like that Negan kind of a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's because you actually have an interesting character that you want to learn more about.
Yeah. And we know in the book, spoilers, I guess, that Koa has been given one of the amulets. So he does have this invincibility, which really gets shown, the kind of invincibility you get by wearing one of those in issue 13. So he's now wearing that. So how can Father defeat him when he's wearing one of those?
Yeah, good point.
But there's answers. Just we're getting ahead of ourselves, as I do.
If Father loses, we riot. Just saying.
My wife yells at me all the time for some of the choices she knows are coming.
Well, I mean, she's got a right to.
I'm giddy. I'm giddy about the scene. I can't wait to get it. I mean, it's noted out, of course, like everything that's coming in the story, but to get it written, to get it drawn, it's going to be an epic way. It'll be issue 17's cliffhanger, and I'm ready. Even though it's a long way away, I'm ready.
So there was something I wanted to ask you three. I see a strange, because my brain doesn't work this way, trend lately, what they call pants writing. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Where you write by the seat of your pants. You don't do outlines. You don't do plotting, planning out. You just go as it. You write it down as it comes. Do you guys do outlines?
I absolutely do. Because I need to know the full. I do outlines of every story arc, so I know the major points. Now I have to fill in all the blanks, especially the quieter character moments. But the major beats, is going to happen to close out each story arc was pre-written years ago when I started it as a novel. So the original outlines go back to like 98, 99, where I know every major thing that's going to happen. And then there's definitely Seat of the Pants writing as well, where I'll be out on a run, I'll be driving and be like, oh wait, that would be really cool. So I've had small characters get a lot more because of Seat of My Pants. But
I'd see those more
they
as
have to
adjustment
come to that end.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, with
I'm a plotter too.
yeah, I plot, but with this, my newest one, Annie and Jock, I had to write Seat of the Pants because I didn't. I mean, I kind of outlined them a little bit, but I wasn't expecting them to become full-blown characters because until the first, everybody's read the first one like, oh, I like this character. And I'm like, no, because they weren't supposed to be anything. But so I wrote them a little more Seat of the Pants than I did per se, like when I did Colt and I did, my main characters Colt, Taya, and Dutch were very much plotted out.
Yeah.
And but I think most of my essays for school were Seat of the Pants.
all my essays from school, I did not write any kind of notes. And here I am, a teacher, telling my kids, okay, make sure you write good notes and all this. And I'm like, not that I did it. I'm not practicing what I preach. But when it comes to the writing, at least I plot out the major events, because that's every arc has to have its one big moment. So I know what the big moments are, and then it's just kind of filling in the blanks. But issue 13, it morphed like 3 times from writing it, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to take it a little bit different direction to still lead us to the major event in issue 18. But I rewrote it. It started off, it was going to be more like Father's issue 9, but for Miguel. And I thought, you know what, it's not time for that yet. We'll get to it later. So I just have all the stuff that I had written for issue 13 and threw out and then brought back something different. So I've done that and just kind of shoved things aside and then give more characters importance, where we see the 2 girls that are basically giving Dr. Man hell when he's trying to train them. They were nothing. I just wrote them, and as I was just kind of writing things out, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give them a little bit more. They're going to have more importance, and they were throwaway characters to start. So, and so was his wife. She was a throwaway character to start too.
Throw that wife away.
I just wanted to show a scene to show how bad it was for the people if they got caught being pregnant. And then the story kind of hatched out. So issue 9 was definitely a Seat of My Pants issue. That issue,
I didn't know. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that though.
I knew, honestly, issue 9 was not supposed to exist in that second story arc, but as the ideas started coming, I couldn't stop them. So ended up writing a 32-page book that was pure Seat of the Pants. None of that was planned, and it was all from that one page in issue 3. And I just thought, what's its importance? Let me dig into it. And as soon as I had figured it out, more little hints started coming. But that particular issue, 100% wrote it without any pre-planning.
Yeah.
I plot the shit out of my books.
Because
I always have the beginning and I have the end where I want to go. And then I'm like, okay, what do I have to develop in order to to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually have the hardest time with like in the middle, where I'm like, all right, I still need to be relevant. I still need to move the plot forward, but we also still have to be, like exciting.
Yeah.
So it's in the middle that I usually get stuck. And like, I'm like you, Ed, I'll go for a walk and I'll just I'll put a headphone in so it doesn't look like I'm talking to myself, but I'm literally talking to myself. Just to kind of
you have
sweat notes on the phone as I'm sitting there trying to type and dripping sweat all over my phone. But
you have to have meetings with yourself. You have to have meetings with yourself.
And that's sometimes I'll even take my wife and I'll kind of brainstorm it. Like, okay, she knows the major plot points. She knows all the big beats. And I say, okay, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And really the whole father sequence came because of issue 6, where we had that big fight with him and Koa. And I thought there's got to be more to this Koa. So it was just kind of me brainstorming, who's Koa? Why is he important? And that's what turned into the issue 9, which of the issues I've written, I think it's my favorite.
Well, let me piggyback on something Chris said there, and great question by the way, because I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of conversations about writing, writing by the seat of the pants or outlining. But are you a front to end? Do you start in the middle somewhere sometimes, or like I know for certain chapters I've written the middle of the chapter first because I know what I want to happen. I just don't know how I'm going to, or so what I mean are you beginning to end? Like, do you write from start to finish, or do you start with your middle somewhere and then work each way, Laurie?
I start at the beginning and then I skip to the end and then I fill in the middle.
Mm.
And I do that even because you got to remember, like my script exists as a like a movie script, like
Right.
production, right? And so that's what I've been doing the last few days is I've been going through scripts for 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm converting them to comic book, right?
Mhm.
And so, but again, I already know my format, like first page is journal, last page is social media. So I have 22 pages to tell this story. And so I got to make sure I have enough room, on either end for big moments. And so I will fill in the beginning and then I'll skip to the end and I'll make sure that gets enough room. And then I'll make sure the middle part hits. And then I'm paying attention to where pages turn and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm opposite. I do big. I have the major beats. That's the only thing that's outlined. And then issue 13's opening, I wrote 2.5 years ago. I knew I needed it, but I didn't know where it was going to go.
Where it fit.
It was written. I just didn't know where it was going to fill in, kind of like how I had started writing it as Miguel's backstory and then threw it out. Well, that's going to go somewhere. It's not going to be gone, but I don't know where it's going to fit. And I've written a lot of scenes like that where they just, I have an inspiration for the scene. I don't know where it's going to fit. So it's just fit it where you can. So it's logical for the story.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris? Are you more front loaded? How do you, when you're writing, what do you do? I guess
I will outline the entire thing, but as I'm going, if the story tells me, hey, something else happened here instead, then I like with the one I'm writing, the Body Snatchers, I scrapped the last half after I wrote it. I wrote the whole thing and I'm like, I hate this. And I just deleted it, and it's like, it has to happen this way. Yeah. And so I still plotted it out then. I still did my outline for everything. But then I filled it in using the outline. I have, my brain has to have the full outline.
I'm right there. I think for the most part, I have to have the outline because it's the way I was taught in school, every way through school, from just on up to there. But so let me ask you this: would we see director's cuts in stuff in movies and TV shows? Would you ever do a director's cut of, say, like you started it out as a movie script, Laurie? Would you do a director's cut of Path, where some of the stuff that you have cut out, where someday you make when you do one full omnibus or something, would you add in things that you wanted to put in these comics and couldn't? Would you do that?
I wouldn't put it in as pages because I feel like it would change how we create it, but I have done this before where I've released the script as bonus material. So like you could see issue 7 when Jude goes into the undead retirement community, what he's thinking as he goes in there, because in the script I'm giving you details about what he's thinking. Right. And his internal, monologue, but you're not getting that in the comic because you're just seeing his body language, his facial expressions, but you're not getting like the people in the car with him, that are undead are looking at him funny because they know that something is up with him, but they're not saying anything because they don't want to rat him out. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you're not getting the whole story, but I will give you here's what the script originally said. And same thing, like issue 1, I think part of that script is in the trade paperback 1 through 4.
Yeah, I
So you
remember
can see the big James chase
Mm-hmm.
from Jude's point of view as well. Same
Yes.
thing. Because that chase, it's like if it was screenplay, there'd be a lot more because it can go quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then in the book, it was like it's 2 pages and it's over because
Yeah.
of pacing. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I would handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
What about you, Ed? Would you have a director's cut?
I would do it more like deleted scenes, because if I cut it, there's a reason for it. And in issue 7, for example, that's the aftermath of the big war in their village. And I wrote a very long scene with Ari basically looking at every helmet and talking about what they meant to her, who each person was. And it went for like 9 pages. Well, in a comic, you're not giving 9 pages to just reflecting on it. So it ended up being kind of like Laurie's, like 2 pages, where she picked a couple of the helmets up, talked about, this was my first friend. This was like, one of them was her first kiss. I mean, it went deep into this. And I just realized, it's holding the pace back because we need to get things moving again.
Yeah.
But to put it in the back of the trade paperback, or more like the hardcover as a deleted scene section, it could work for that because it gets you more depth about her and how I trained with this person and she really goes deep, but it just slowed the pacing of the book down too much. So I think more like a deleted scene, not like a director's cut, because most director's cuts, as soon as you watch them, you realize why they cut the material out. Unless they're James Cameron director's cuts where you're just like, damn, his are pretty solid and watchable. But most of them, you're thinking, this scene was deleted for a good reason. But it's still fun to see it. And that's more how I would present it.
I know what I mean. Chris and I are obviously prose writers, so I want to know what Chris says here as far as I feel like, I mean, I know what I'm going to say, but I want to hear what Chris says first. Would you have a director's cut? Like, not like what you just said, where you didn't like it, but like
right.
Some of the things that you love, but you just had to take it out because of pacing.
Well, as Miss, I'm not sure if anybody else knows, but Miss Laurie can tell you, the books actually were graphic novels at first. 48 pages, 52 pages, I think they were. In fact, I killed a kid on the first page.
I know, and
I know, I didn't even think of that when I said that to you.
So funny.
But that ended up being expanded on into an entire first chapter in the book because I explained how she got to town, what their motivation, and then when her death hit at the end, it was more impactful then instead of just a 3 or 4 panel thing. So that's my novels would be considered the director's cut of the comics I had.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I'm like right there with you, Chris. I don't think if I had, if I deleted like 4 or 5 chapters, I probably wouldn't do that. But like certain chapters that I did have where I cut out a couple of things that it probably wouldn't have slowed the pace down. But like they say, sometimes you have to kill your darlings. You have to, you really love this line. You love this line that you want in there. Like I have some dialogue that I would love to put back in my first book but I was trying to keep it like PG-13 instead of rated R, I think. But there's times where I'm like, because I think there's people that ask me, well, why did you do that? And certain of that, sometimes my dialogue doesn't come across why I did that, even though it makes sense. But I had to take out some of that beefy dialogue. But I think I would do that where I came back and did like maybe like I guess it would probably be deleted scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would, because I don't have anything to like do a director's cut really, but I probably would do like you, and I probably would have like this was a scene, or this was a some dialogue that was deleted, and if it helps you, it helps you. But I don't know if I would. I don't know. It's hard because, like I said, you like Laurie, you're started out as a script. Ed, you're started as a novel. It just got me thinking, how would you do anything different than what you've done? From the, like, you have stuff, like you said, you had stuff in the script that's not going into the actual comic script, and you have stuff in the novel that's not actually going in the script. So I just wondered if there would be like something where you like down the road would put out like the actual script, the script that you wrote.
Well, I've thought about going into novels.
Yeah.
Just to tell, the story from it's still telling the same story, but again, you're hearing Jude's monologue,
Right.
because you're not getting that. And he's thinking a lot, especially in that first issue. There's not a ton of dialogue because he's by himself, but he is thinking so many things about where he is and why he's doing things. And so I think it would be really interesting if someone from the graphic novels who have read the graphic novels went and read the novel, which the novel would consist of the first 12 issues. You know what I mean? So that whole first arc would be one book. So that would be cool to see that, just because you're getting much more of the internals of what people are thinking.
We will see it, but we will see it. So.
Yeah, mine was originally written as a first person narrative, all from Ari's point of view.
Yeah.
So I think the comic actually forced me to expand it and give the other characters more depth. Yeah. And my first draft, oh my gosh, I gave away everything in just this kind of exposition dump to start the book. All these major reveals were all just handed over to you in the first 8 pages. And luckily I submitted it to a publisher and they kicked the shit out of me for it. Well deserved. And they forced me to think it over, to think again about what I had there and not make backstory the whole issue. And it was one of those things where, you don't like being told you're garbage, but when you are garbage, you say, all right, I will clean myself off and be better. So, after a day of sulking, you realize, okay, there's positives here. They took the time to read it and didn't just, throw it into the pile of stuff we don't want to look at. So you look at the positive parts of that, and then it would have been a much different book. And a lot of these holy crap moments that we get would have all been wasted in the first 8 pages. So it saved me from publishing an inferior book. So that's where, okay, I cut things for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not fun to be told you suck.
No, it never is.
Chris, and yours was you said so. Yours was the graphic, then the novel, and then the game. Is that how it went? Is that the order it went for you, Chris?
Well, no, I started off with the board game.
Okay.
Then I went to the graphic novel, then the RPG, then the novels. When I realized I am not the master of the page turn, because that's important when you're doing those kinds of scripts. You have to understand that, and I am better with prose than I am with the condensed form.
I am finding that out the hard way around. But what would you take? What would you take from the game that you don't have in the novels? What would you take from your game? Because I love because you're doing all these posts where you're asking, what would you like to see in these games and things like that. What would you take from the game that you don't have in the book that you would add into, say, the Beast Within or the Cannibal Rednecks, or my favorite, the Slasher? What would you take from those that you would put in the books?
Gosh, they are honestly all coming, phrasing, because I have 12 books planned out. So, I mean, everybody's going to get in there and a chance to shine. I would like to, if I did anything, it would be a side story for the mayor, like how he first started, or the Sherlock Holmes Society. I would like to go into something like that.
Or how Taco dances with the slasher.
Somebody wants to get me the transcripts of all of those, because I don't think I'm allowed back anymore.
So we're talking. We'll get back to Walking Dead here a little bit. Laurie, what you know? We know what you're, for the most part. You said Supernatural. You said Pale Rider itself. Laurie, what is there anything you took from Walking Dead that inspired you as well?
Yes, the way that they opened the series, right? Because when you first start Walking Dead, you're with Rick, and I mean, like, there was a little part where he and Shane were in the car, and then that happened. But ignoring that, because nobody cares about that, because when he woke up in the hospital and he's experiencing the world kind of for the first time by himself, right? And so you're with him as a single person. So you're learning the world with Rick, but you're also empathizing with his, experience before you start to meet like the rest of the crew, et cetera, et cetera. I always approach my books like that, where you're going to meet the protagonist first and you're going to see them make decisions because you're going to learn about their character and the world and the rules, but you only have to really focus on this one person. I think it's so much easier to introduce the world and your protagonist this way, right? I have a hard time, and I'm not saying that this can't be done, because with the books that have like major casts, like 8, 9, 10, 11 characters, I have a hard time keeping them all straight right in the beginning.
Yeah.
And like, who am I following and who's, like it's hard, And so I kind of took that from Walking Dead. Like, this is our first main character. This is how brutal the world is in the first issue. So you understand the high stakes here, and that there's major consequences for small decisions. And so that's kind of my take from that.
Yeah.
Good, Chris.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, writing the ensembles
is hard.
Really difficult to keep everybody in line or to keep track of everything. Would you ever off somebody just to make your life easier as a writer?
Oh, absolutely. Well, let's say this. I off people all the time. So, in fact, I think.
But they don't stay offed.
They don't. Well, they're walking around somewhere, but so they can show back up. But it's like, to really have someone stay in the story, they got to be very important. So we've seen a lot of really charismatic and important characters walk through path that are only in it for an issue or two. Lola. Lola is a fabulous character. Was in 4 and 5. You know what I mean? Miguel Blanco, super important. Issue 6, right? But it doesn't mean that we won't see them again. They're just super important characters that are moving through Jude's story.
I think it's
not necessarily killing them off, but maybe not seeing them again for a while.
I think that's why I did. In this book, I did two books in one. Basically, I split the group because there's going to be new people introduced, and I was like, "Hey, Dave, how are you?" It was like I'm going to be introducing quite a few characters, and to have eight people, I'm no George R. Martin where I can write 14 people in one scene, so that's difficult. But I think that's why I did that. Split the party, because that way I can introduce the characters and they're only interacting with like 3 people, maybe 4 instead of 8 or 9 or 10, and you're going to lose dialogue that way.
Yeah.
And I've seen writers do that. I've seen writers trying to give us 14 characters in one chapter, and you can't. It is so difficult. I mean, if you can do it, great. But it's difficult. It's because you're going to get lost and jumbled into the dialogue. Of
it's even worse when it's a fantasy book and their names are like Jamiroquai
and you got to go look at the
and I'm just like, I have no idea who these people are.
It's
like
that becomes a pain.
Even
with Game of Thrones, at first I had to go back and forth to the back of the book, because it's like, who's this again? What does this matter?
Eye of the World is like
go
that.
Up for like 2 chapters, and you're like, I have no idea. Oh yeah, they were from 3 chapters ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Robert Jordan is very notorious for doing.
Oh yes.
Eye of the World. Yeah, you get
6 of that series.
You get so many characters in one, and you're just like, he's a great writer. Don't get me wrong. And then obviously Brandon Sanderson took over for him, but Jordan was notorious for giving us so many characters.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of why I like, that's why I like the Conan series, because you get Conan and probably 3 people, and you're dealing with Conan and those 3 people the whole time. It works and it's fast. And so I like that. Ed, did you get any inspiration from Walking Dead for yours? Or is it just kind of
my story goes farther back than that, but I mean, you can't help but be influenced by the things that are around you. But I think when I took it from novel to a comic book, it became more ensemble, where all 5 characters had to have their own arcs. I mean, they always have had their personality, but when it was, for example, in issue 1, when Miguel was getting the book, that would have all just been told to Ari. Well, now I need to write it as a scene that's exciting and fun, And the first draft of the book, again, you just see Miguel come back. We don't see any of this stuff, and it's all just kind of told in issue 2. And I think that it's better when you actually can see him, and you can see. I split the group all the time, and right now you have half underground, half above, trying to do different things, and splitting the group. I think that's the hardest thing, where you have to figure that juggling act. But it does make for good turners. Like, okay, this character's in peril, turner, and now you get to a different character. It's like, you bastard.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, you bastard, Dad. I'm always like, Dad, how dare you?
I didn't care about father right now, but yeah, I mean, it's tricky. But with Walking Dead, I mean, I think you can be influenced by things. I mean, it's zombie stories, and Walking Dead was influenced by all the zombie stories that came before it. And even though mine's not technically a zombie, it's got its pieces, but I just try to constantly flip things on their head, where you think you know, but you don't. And I mean, everything seeps into your mind. So I can't say it wasn't influenced, but it wasn't directly.
Can I?
Yeah.
To the lady in the back of the room, please.
Lori, yes. Do you have a question, Lori? Well, I just want to say, I think Ed and I can both say that we were influenced by trying to do something different.
Right.
Right? Something that hasn't been done. And Walking Dead is a major influence, because that was doing something different, and it ran with it for a long time, and then we were oversaturated with it. And I think that was one way that we were inspired to write something new and different that hadn't been done before. And before I met Ed, I was like, no one's done this, right? No one said death is broken. Let's do it. So, and then we found each other. We're like, hey,
Chris in the front row from Laughing Rogue. Go ahead.
When you raised your hand, my head immediately went to Key and Peele, and I said, Laurie Calcaterra.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
E. Davis. Is that E. Davis back there?
E. Davis.
Oh, yeah. We didn't know of each other's books. It was so funny when I read them. It's like, okay, it's funny because we're taking the same path, but in such different directions.
Yeah.
Where you would read hers, you would read mine, and you can see, okay, yes, death's broken. That's where this is coming from, but it's such a different way. And I think that's the fun thing, is taking a new spin on immortality, a new spin on zombies, because mine's not zombies. I tell people it's more like the walking living. It's like they're not going to die. It's got all kinds of messiness. And now we've both brought in cannibalism, but it's completely different forms of cannibalism. I joke hers is a refined cannibalism, where they got plates, and mine is just here comes a dude, eat his leg. And that's my version of cannibalism. But they both have that ugly cannibalism in a world without resources.
I think Kirkman finally gave us what we've really been wanting with Romero and them. It was always the zombies that really were the bad guys. Where Kirkman, I think, gave us the high. There's more than just we got to worry about the zombies. Now we do have to worry about the humans, and there's no one safe. Nobody ever. I don't recall any time. Maybe I don't know if Lost came out before Walking Dead or not, but
Lost was before. Maybe not the book though.
Right, but there were stakes. Like no one was safe, and then we get it from Walking Dead. Then we get it from Game of Thrones. We get stakes where no one is safe. The only other time I think I can recall was 24, maybe, where you kind of get the you're watching 24 and you have some people that you're like, hey, that's cool, and then the next hour they're dead. So I think I appreciate that kind of, like you said, you're doing a story that hasn't been told. We're giving stakes to people. We're giving we're getting a question. We might know a little bit why in Ed's world why death is broken. But we don't know per se why death is broken in Laurie's.
Not yet.
Unless you have figured it out, or and the awesome clues that she's given, and that's what that's kind of storytelling I like. I want to be interacting with the story instead of just reading the story.
Yeah,
which we get with we get it with Chris, and we get it with you guys, because we're having to. Especially with his Jake Bishop, you're like, okay, I got to figure out what Jake's going to do now, the little sly son of a gun. And then, or you're dropping hints in social media and and your journal entries, and so I love that you're actually playing along instead of just going reading along. Like I can read a Spider-Man comic all day long, it's still good, but I'm not interacting with Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I do give the answer quick. I'll say that you get the answer to mine in issue 2, but it sets the quest up.
Right,
and
but
it
we still have to
becomes
play along with your quest.
It's like, okay, we know why, but how do you fix it? And now that's become the story where I thought I could have waited and waited and waited, but I just figured, no, let's get it over with so that way they can get up and try to find those pieces of death. It's now, how do we get to the surface? How do we find these? How do we get them when a witch is guarding them? Things like that.
Yeah.
Getting a piece of death means something completely different in my world. I'm just saying.
It means a lot. It means something different in Thanos' world too. I'll just throw that out there. But no, I like that. That's kind of why I'm doing the Jesse Crow that way. You know, we're going to get 12 different tales about Jesse Crow, and you need to figure out, well, why does this person not like him? Why does this person like him a little bit but not like him? So I want there to be thought-provoking, insight and things like that of why this is working. And that's what I like about, there's not enough of that. And that's why I like, we have, I feel like we're in that niche of a small group of people that want something different.
Yeah.
And I'm talking. Go ahead, Chris. Chris, front row, laughing rogue. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was going to say I took the small town community part from Walking Dead, but what I liked is that the zombies were treated as a force of nature and not. And that's what I do with the monsters in the background. Like you have your main antagonists, but then you also have the creatures and things that are like in one part. Big James does show up in the book, and
what do you mean by like I kind of think I know where you're going with it, but what do you explain the force of nature to me on that one?
Sure, they don't try to make it like the zombies are hunting you down in Walking Dead. They are more like it's about to storm here. If that storm happens to come through, you're in its path.
Yeah, they're wild animals. It's like being caught in a forest full of bears.
I never looked at it that way, but that's
Big James and his crew.
Can you imagine?
As Ed would point out, that's a good couch metaphor there, Chris.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't look at it that way. I just looked at it as that there was just a population of dead people, and they but I didn't that puts a good perspective on it. Like
they could be like a forest fire, they could be a hurricane, they could be they're there a consequence of making noise. So I like that in Walking Dead too. That's kind of path as well, where it's like the undead are there. There's no getting out of it. Like death is broken for everybody. You're not immune. So you got to move through this world differently because.
Yeah, mine's different than that because it's just now it's becoming groups that are doing things because of it. So you have the cannibals, you have the people that are basically running things with the coven, but it's still, what are they going to do with all these bodies? And there's more revelations to come because figure there's been plenty of people who should be dead but aren't, and we've only seen what they do with the elderly. So what happens with the other ones? And we'll find out in our Fade to Black novel. My Fade to Black story will be an Immortal Era story, and it will show what they do with when the opening scene of the whole book in the hospital, what happens to those people, and I got it covered.
At least you're not beating up Chad Windsor in your Fade to Black story.
You already gave us the chicken farms, please.
The chicken farm is one of the. I had an artist say I refuse to draw that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he said, he said you can't scare me. I read Scott Snyder. I'm like, let me explain it. So I explained what the chicken farm was, and he goes, "You have to write something different. That's too much." I said, "No, it's important because it's all connected. Why is Father doing what he did? Why did he establish this village saving children? It's all rooted in the chicken farm. So I said, we got to do it. I said, but we'll do it in a subtle way. I'm not showing nudity in my book, but the implied is dark enough.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where when people, Fred was saying, oh, if you read Fisticuffs, it's really dark. Are you going to be okay? I'm like, have you read my shit, man?
Have you read Immortal Era?
And I asked him, and
he said the same thing to me. He was worried before he came on the brew for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I read his book and I was laughing out loud. And he was like, okay, you're dark.
Yeah, I think maybe he read issue 1. And issue 1 doesn't get too crazy in my book, but if you make it to 3,
three is
a set down issue for some people. They're like, you just took it too far, sir.
No, you did not take it too far.
One of the guys, he said, you took it really far, but I understand and it needs to be there. But damn, I said, just give a wait for issue 9, and then you'll really think I took it too far.
And see, that's what takes me back. That takes me back to why I would probably do deleted scenes, because there are. If you've read the first book, you know what happens to Colt's wife, so you know that there was more to. But I had to keep it PG-13. I didn't have to, but I wanted to keep it PG-13.
I chose not to keep.
Yeah, that's good though. No, but it makes like you said. When I got to 3, I'm kind of like that. I know why you did it. I'm not upset that you did it. I know why you did it, because you have to tell. And there's been even darker. There's darker.
What do you mean issue 1 isn't dark? Issue 1 is plenty dark.
I guess not dark enough for Fred, because he thought I wasn't ready. So I'm like, all right.
Did he not?
I think he had just read Floaters. I'm like, that one's not very
okay.
happy either.
That one's bad too, but I mean, like the incinerator full of.
Yeah,
I know Floaters 2 is going to be scary and dark, but
it's
It's just going to be a book with black panels because the guy's blind now.
Well, the opening of Floaters 2, we get to see the surgery, and the naked dude will have to make his appearance this time. There's no way he can't.
and floating heads.
The surgery and the naked dude are the only ones that didn't make it into Floaters 1. So Floaters 2, they must be there.
He takes his bandage off. He sees his streaker. He's like, put it back on. He's like, I don't think it worked right.
I haven't
read the book, guys. I don't know. I'm just saying.
The people stop my pitch at cons when I start telling them about Floaters. They're like, ooh, that's too much.
That's too much.
Don't continue, please.
All right.
It just makes me giggle.
Oh, me too. I think that, and I tell them, if you're that freaked out, then I've done my job.
Yeah, you've done your job. Yeah, you have. I mean, Floaters is a good book, though. I mean,
but I wasn't writing it for the kids. I wasn't writing it to not creep you out, because I was writing it from a weird ass place in a hospital. So my headspace was in an odd place. So of course you're going to get that coming through.
Let me ask you this question, and then, so Chris, we'll go with you first. Slaughterville is coming to TV. Is it HBO, AMC, Amazon, or Netflix?
Disney Plus.
I mean, Disney Plus now, yeah.
They did put Punisher on.
Right next to Deadpool.
Yeah. I think Amazon would have more money to put behind it.
Amazon. Ed, Immortal Era comes to TV. Where are you going? Netflix, Amazon. Where are you going? HBO.
I think HBO Max. They seem to do the grittier stuff, but they all seem to cancel. And Netflix would just decide to make my characters all different and bring in love stories and all that. And I'm like, there's no love in this universe. It's just a mess. But yeah, I'd say HBO Max or Shudder. If Shudder had,
Shudder. I forgot about Shudder. Good one. All right, Laurie, where we go? Where's Path going?
Well, I've been told Netflix. Been told Netflix by people that are like in the game, but I don't know. I'm not doing that. I don't know. What about Apple TV? They've done some really good stuff. Like they have Silo is really good. So like that kind of level of production, I think.
Yeah, they have the money.
They have the money. Between that one, there was that other one, The Ridge or something like that, where they go down in the ridge.
Yeah, the Ridge, the Ridge.
That one was great. Like they have the money, and I don't know if a lot of people are watching their stuff comparatively. Like you'd get the most views on Netflix. Let's be
Of
honest,
course, yeah. Netflix is going to get you the most bang for your
or
buck.
Amazon.
Well, at that point, you might as well go YouTube. Just make it a YouTube exclusive.
We do Amazon though. I changed my answer. We're going Amazon. Amazon Prime.
I just fear with any of them that they're not going to tell the whole story, and we're going to get the story stopped in the middle. Because
all of them, Ed. They're all going to bastardize.
Yeah, every streamer is infamous for stopping in the middle and never giving you the conclusion.
I will give you free reign of your show.
Yeah,
So
that's
in
good.
this world,
we know it's
and they tell it as is. Where would you go?
I'm going CW. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going CW.
Peacock. You're going to Peacock.
No, I'd probably go. I would never go Peacock.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. If I was, I wouldn't mind Paramount Plus, but I'm probably going Amazon or I'm going HBO.
Yeah.
I'm probably going Amazon or HBO. HBO would probably get the grittiness of the grittiness, like Ed said.
Amazon.
I think Amazon would be able to. I'd get more episodes out of Amazon than I would.
Yeah, because look what they did with
Poison.
Westworld. That would be like that kind of production for your book would be perfect. That Westworld look.
Yeah.
So
Westworld.
they've nailed the West. So now they just need a different version of the West. But I think it could be really good. And yeah, all of our shows are going to require money to produce. That's the thing.
I'm giving it all to you, Ed. I'm giving you all the money.
Yeah, no, that's good because they're not coming cheap.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think just as importantly as where it's going to be, would it be live action or animated?
So yeah, mine's definitely live.
Yeah, I got to go live for mine.
Agreed. Mine too.
50-50.
It could be good.
Like animated, yours would be like a good Invincible, Laurie. Like Amazon.
Like Castlevania. Have you seen
Or that one, or a good. So you're going anime style.
I definitely like Castlevania style horror and just over the top. But it's like there's a lot of action, and I don't know if they could do like the undead retirement community. It's the Grand Canyon full of undead bodies and
that's hard in live action.
You don't want to see a Disney.
That would be great live action, but it'd be all CGI.
Yeah, a bunch of janky ass CG zombies.
I would love
they
to
would
see
mess it up.
A Disney Path of the Pale Rider. You got Disney princesses running around.
Can you imagine if it was chibi style, just like Big James?
I can't do chibi, man.
Now somebody's going to do that, now, don't you? Like the Disney Big Eyes, Big James, and all that.
Yeah, well, his guts hanging out. We have those in our scratch and sniff stickers. Please see Flapjack.
I've got a ton of them.
Yeah.
So I think we're all staying away from Netflix, which is good because we'll get canceled in the first season.
I mean, maybe they need more of us. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, I think they do. I mean, that's a show for another or talk for another show because I can talk all day long on that. I know Chris and I have had many behind the scenes discussions about that, and we'll add it to the list, Chris, of shows. We all have such unique worlds, I mean, yes, we've had horror, but we've never had an entire collection of monsters running around a small town in a while. It's been the last one I can think of. What was it? Monster Squad or whatever it was, way back in the 80s. So that's
like the Universal monsters running around.
Yeah, and then you don't have we don't get a whole lot of westerns, so Laurie and I kind of fall in that western, and then I don't think anything is like a Mortal Era on TV right now. So you have the uniqueness of all of our worlds. I think where why not? Yeah. I mean, I always ask myself, would I do it if it came down to it? If somebody asked me to do it, would I do it? And I think my answer 9 times out of 10 is yes.
Mm-hmm.
I may pull my hair out and I may get frustrated, but I would 9 times out of 10, I would probably do it if somebody tomorrow walked up and said, "Hey, we want to produce this or we want to do this." 9 times out of 10, I would say yes.
I think so.
Yeah, I had my first book, Survival. They HBO said it wasn't mainstream enough, so they didn't want it. But at least they looked at it and told me, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's such a stupid answer. Because mainstream is mainstream because that's what people are used to. but it's like it's not mainstream because no one's given it a shot. You know what I mean? And we're so
anything can
tired
become
at this
mainstream.
point of the same BS reboot recycle.
That's why
Give us
Obsession.
something new.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
I picked
Obsession is
Amazon.
working.
Yeah.
That's why Obsession is working. We talked about this yesterday. That's why Obsession worked.
Mhm.
That's why
Backrooms.
Backrooms worked.
Yep.
That's why Iron Lung worked. That's why more people went to see those. I mean, let's just
Supergirl.
yeah,
And Supergirl,
young George Washington. Young George Washington has more. Is outperforming Super. You have a president.
We're tired of it.
Mhm.
Stop
Yeah.
giving us
Right.
these
So
damn movies.
that's a corporate answer. I
Yeah,
think,
I mean,
in my
Corporate
opinion.
answer. Yeah, exactly. Because someone told me that about my book too in the beginning. It's not mainstream enough. Why aren't you writing what everybody else is writing? And I was like, why would I write something that someone has already done?
Yeah, been
Well,
there,
you
done
wanna-
that. It's
Already
not
out
new.
there.
Do you want a bunch of vanilla ice cream, or do you want the Rocky Road and
Yes.
with sprinkles? And
Chocolate
that's what I
chip.
tell my brother all the time when we're voting on these polls on my page. She's always,
Yeah.
I'm like, you like vanilla ice cream? That's my brother. He likes
Dun.
vanilla, and I'm like, you got to look outside the box.
Yeah.
There's so
Like I
much
said-
good stuff if you just
Yeah.
give me a shot. You
But
know?
if you look at it, they have 52 different CSIs, 12 NCISs. And,
Yeah, I know.
That's
you
my
know?
point.
Yeah.
How many?
it's-
How
well,
much Walking Dead did we get? Let's
in
bring
my-
it back to Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
there's like
In-
what,
in
3
my defense-
spin-offs?
Too much.
Maybe 4?
In my defense, I do like NCIS Origins, so I will.
But it's like Walking Dead, the first one, Fear the Walking Dead. There was like the kid one. There's been
Mhm.
video games.
Yeah.
You know, there's just it's so much that it's like, and I love Walking Dead, the original
Mhm.
book that I watched the first one all the way through the end, even though I hated it after the Whisperer showed up. Like when Alpha was there, I was like,
Alpha.
"Man, I just
Ooh,
need
we
it
didn't
to
even
end."
talk. Alpha's horrible.
Well,
in a
I
good-
mean,
in a
like
good way,
in
in
the
a
book,
good
I
way.
mean, they were the most terrifying. I feel
Yes.
like Kirkman in the book did a really good job of kind of like escalating. Every time we found a new place and there was a new bad guy, it was like, oh my God, how
Yeah.
can they possibly outdo the last group? Like, how can you outdo the governor?
Mhm.
Oh, we'll give you Negan.
Yeah.
Now it's like, and now we have the Whisperers, and it's like, oh my God, you know, with the spikes and the heads on the spikes, I was like, we're done here, you know. But the TV show just got too predictable, and it was like, we're going to give you 12 episodes, but we're only going to give you 6, and then we're going to wait. And by the way, stuff happens in episode 1 and episode 6, and the 3
Yeah.
in the middle, nothing happens.
Nothing.
5,
Yeah,
whatever,
it's just
4,
spinning its wheels.
do math.
So boring.
right?
And if anybody ends their book how Rick was ended in the comics, I will stop reading in a second. That annoyed the stuffing out of me.
I think
Oh.
he wanted. To
I
be done.
hated that.
He rushed it. He rushed the ending in the books too.
But I
'Cause he
think
was-
that
he
was
was
the
tired
point
of
is
it.
like all this time you thought that Rick was the one telling the story and it
Yeah.
wasn't. So
Yeah.
that's what he was trying to do. And then they messed that up in the TV show too.
The TV
Oh,
show
yeah.
too. So.
So anyway, that's my rant about Walking Dead. Enough of Walking Dead. You've
Yep.
served your purpose. Like zombies were cool
We're
again.
Yeah.
And now we are, you know, incentivized. You've brought, you know, Ed and I into the game to do something new and different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah, you take what is there and you progress from it, just like you said.
Right.
You take it because somewhere down the road, if our shows ever, you know, or if our books ever made shows, somebody's going to go and take ours a step further, and that's
Mhm.
that's all. That's what
Yeah.
you want. I mean, that's what
The
you
next
want.
step.
Something new. When the genre gets stagnant, shake it up.
Shake it up.
Mhm.
When we get romantic zombies, the genre's dead. Start it over. Throw
Move
it out
on.
in the chat.
They have that. They have that. Bleeding Heart,
Yeah.
I believe is it was called.
Warm
Yeah,
bodies.
I
Warm
saw
bodies,
that. I
thank
remember
you.
that.
And that's when I was like,
Yep.
F this, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yep.
We're getting close to that time, so we got some. We had a big announcement on Friday. We had a really cool show on Friday night. If you guys missed it, we got to see the launch of some of the books that we've been talking about today. Laurie, why don't you give us a little bit about Path of the Pale Rider?
Oh my goodness.
And we
well,
actually have the correct.
there is the Linky Loo. We are live right now for our second trade paperback, which is a soft cover, and it covers issues 5, 6, 7, and 8, which in my opinion are like the biggest blockbuster issues in the first 12, which is the first arc. So it's an incredible ride for Jude St. Clair in 5, 6, 7, 8. Things are on fire. We get swarms of undead bugs. Like we were talking about the undead retirement community, which is a lie. And it's just the Grand Canyon full of dead bodies that Jude gets to swim through and hopefully not die. If he gets through all sorts of stuff and then makes it to the Golden City. So the answer to what happened to Death or where Death is or all of that is right around the corner.
Ooh, nice.
So we're right on the cusp. The answers are there. He just has to find them.
I can finally say something.
Don't say anything, Mr. Spoiler Man. But there's some incredible stuff in the bonus material of this book. And so if you've read all 8 issues, congratulations. There's additional journal entries from Jude St. Clair, which I love to do. And these, since you know how the world works, I get to fill you in on some of what Jude thinks about the characters. What does he think about Dwayne Fink? What does he know about Gold? So there's some really meaty stuff, pun intended, in this bonus material. We have a whole fan art section. So if you're looking for fan art, it is there. We also have a cover art gallery. So all of the previous variant covers. So it's always so hard to choose between the variant covers. You know what I mean? When the campaigns are live. So now if you get this, you just get them all. Mm-hmm. And then there's the story by Nem. Nice. So he wrote a story about Taco Feo, who's an insane character in our RPG game. Insane character.
I'm right there with you, Chris. I'm going to help you.
But you get to see Taco Feo on day 1 when Death goes missing. And so what happens to him and how Gladys is formed. It's really good. So I hope you guys, head over to the campaign. Hi, Pops. Head over to the campaign. See, we have a couple different sizes of books. We got a bunch of crazy merch. The Sad Pancake plushies are gone, sadly. But I'm thinking I might order some more. I'm going to talk to Carissa and see how long it'll take if I can order 5 more.
Had to be Carissa. She's the queen of the plushies.
Always Carissa. It's always her that's like, you need a plushie. And I'm like, do I though? She's like, you need a Sad Pancake plushie. And if you don't order it, I'm making one for myself. And I'm like, I guess I'm ordering plushies.
Yes.
Like I said, between you and Carissa and now Matt Knowles, with the merch, my stash behind me gets bigger and bigger.
I know. We're merchaholics. We actually broke 2 stretch goals since the campaign launched on Friday. So we unlocked the PDF bundle, which I love doing, and I'm going to switch them up again. And then we unlocked today a 5x7 print by Jared Lockhart of our favorite Bandita, Lola Martinez.
Nice.
Lola. Yeah. All right. And Ed, I got yours up here.
Awesome. So this is Immortal Era 12 and the trade paperback with the second, or hardcover, so you can get either one, with the full second story arc. So we're talking, I think the hardcover's coming in at about 188 pages and about 172 for the soft cover. So the hardcover, you get the full cover gallery, and then both versions, you'll get the Tales from the Collective story that I did, which was a 6-page story that showed what happened in Japan when people gained immortality, and also introduces a major villain for the second story arc. So we get this character introduced in this short story, and this one, talking about Seat of the Pants, that was a Seat of the Pants character, and I thought, well, who could he be? Why is he important? Because I was just trying to write it from using a different death mythology. Instead of the Grim Reaper, we have a Shinigami because it's taking place in Japan, and it's not taking place on December 31st, because in Japan, it wouldn't be December 31st. So I had to find the exact time that midnight would be for December 31st in Japan. So we find out what happened there, and that story will be included into the trade. So it should have a lot of fun stuff, because a lot of people didn't read the collective story. And then I will make that available to everyone digital. So anyone who bought it and didn't buy the trade, if they're my floppy people, then the digital version of that will be with their digital bundle that they get. So that's what we're working on. And this is the closeout of the second story arc. Huge moments in this book. There's 2 big events that happen that will now shake up the whole world and change what's going to happen as the story moves ahead.
Very nice. Sweet. I backed all of them. I can't wait for. I got the first hard. You got the first yours in hardcover. Ed, I'm getting the second one in hardcover because I love the hardcovers. I got both
yeah.
Laurie's. Go check them out. Fantastic stories on both ends. Very, just very immersive and very addictive. Both of them. Laurie's Path and Ed's Immortal Era are really cool. So go out, check them out. You see the links in there. They're in the comments. And other than that, what else we got? Chris, I know we got a couple of things coming. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the project that all four of us, plus 3 other ones, are involved in?
Oh, yeah. So we have Fade to Black coming. Now, Fade to Black is... it was brought out because of music titles, and that's what really sold me on this thing is we're all going to be writing short stories under, what was it, 8,000 words, something around there.
Somewhere around there.
And every story has to end in a fade to black, where you are left to wonder, ponder, guess what really happened at the end of it. And that, honestly, that's freaking me out, because I just
yeah. And knowing I've read a few of them, they're great, they're funny, they're emotional, they're scary, they're everything. So you get a little bit of everything in it, and I'm glad that we came up with this project. Like I said, Chris and I are going to be writing outside of our comfort zones, as opposed to what we normally write in prose. Laurie, Ed are kind of out of their comfort zones. They're mainly comic book creators. They're going to be writing prose again, and like Laurie
the
said,
trailer.
Yeah, Laurie said you're getting to see some of her side as a prose writer. Ed, we'll get to see some backstory of Immortal Era, which is really cool.
Yeah. Stephen George, my character, the reporter from the opening, everybody wants more of him, so we will get what happens after we lose him in Immortal Era 1. And yeah, it was already written with a fade to black in the comic script, so I'm just having to readapt it. But yeah, we'll see what happens to him from the moment he's captured in the end of issue 1, with just in that little flashback and moving ahead.
And like I said, we got Laurie, Ed, myself, Chris. We got Katrina Rowitz. We got George Medina. We got Nate. I always forget his last name. Sorry, Nate. We got 7 writers enjoying, and all of us have a job to do, which makes it, a little bit less stressful, and it'll make it a little bit less time consuming, I think, for all of us, that when we all have jobs to do, and it's collaborative, and I can't wait. And if we're going to do, maybe there'll be a book 2 down the road. You never know if there's be a Fade to Black 2. I know Laurie's got plenty of ideas. She's full of them.
Full of something.
Full of something. I didn't want to go there. But yeah, I can't wait for that. I know Chris is working on, I've seen some of the behind the scenes of it. He's working on a new game, Scene of the Crime. Awesome. You know what, Chris, we'll do another weekly this week where we talk more about the games and things, and we'll do some more Fade to Black. So we'll do Wednesday again, Wednesday morning, if you're cool with that.
Sure.
So we'll be back Wednesday morning with that. And then I've got
Josh, we're previously engaged on Wednesday morning, sir.
Oh, that's right, we are. We will make it Tuesday.
We got a 10 a.m. interview ready to go on Wednesday morning.
I kept forgetting that. We'll do Tuesday morning, Chris. Tuesday morning. I forgot we do have.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. There's a lot going on in my brain. I've got a.
We'll plan the day.
I got Hell Comes to Texas.
You're gonna compete with my show. I see how it is.
No, I'll do it. We'll do it after yours. I can do it in the afternoon. It's all good. I think that's when we did it last time, wasn't it? I think it was like 1 o'clock.
We do so many that it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I know.
We'll do, but I got Hell Comes to Texas, the trading card game, Frontier Legends. All of the people here are going to be getting a beta test, so I can't wait to be ripped apart and yeah, you rip it apart, tear it apart. I do. I absolutely. Lorena and I have done 4. You guys will be getting part of beta 5. So it's going to be a lot more cards, but I can't wait. We got 4 other people, or I've got 5 other people that are going to be helping out as well. So we have 8 total testers. I think that's a really good pool of of people to do. So we got that going on. Laurie, are you working on anything else besides Path? Is there any and Fade to Black? Is there anything else that you
Yes.
would like to share with us?
Fish Lee has been inking the pages for the Lone Stars, and I
Yeah.
am dying for you guys to read that one. It's my first foray into superheroes because
Nice.
I don't really write superheroes, but this gave me the chance. Tom Hutchinson said, "Hey, do you want to write this one shot for Texas-based superheroes?" And I was like, "Why the heck not?"
Yeah.
And so I tapped into my Saturday morning watching of X-Men when I was a kid, and I think it's really fun. There's parts where we kind of you'll laugh out loud, and if you if you get all the inside jokes and you look at all the cameos that Fish is drawing in, it's a lot of fun. So I had a blast with that one, and I can't wait.
Nice.
That one will probably go live early March of 2027 is the plan for
Nice.
that one. So
Nice.
yeah.
Ed, anything you're working on besides Immortal? And I know you got a Cthulhu, I think, or
Yeah, well, Laurie and I are both in the new
Oh,
Cthulhu when it
very
comes
nice.
out. I think we're just waiting on it to arrive, and then
Yep.
I have the Karen Hunters issue 1 is going to color now, and Dracula Sherlock Holmes
That's the one.
is ready, but it's a matter of we're waiting on a publisher because I do have a publisher interested in that one. And yeah, I finished other scripts, and I'm working on my first kid-friendly script that will be on the level of like a Goosebumps story. So
Very
I'm
cool.
working on that because my students ask me over and over again, when are you we're going to be able to read one of your books? And this is the one I'm working on. It is a haunted house story set in my childhood town with one of my childhood friends who passed away in a motorcycle accident. So it's my great homage to him and us growing up in the middle of a shitty desert and how we kept ourselves interested with someone that had way too much imagination.
Very
That
nice.
actually sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for it. I am. All these things, all these great projects we got. And then the one last thing that I have to say, check out January 1st, 2027, Dirt Road Creative Studios, Lorraine and I studio. It's basically just housing all of our writings and our creative stuff. Just something that we wanted to do, something with our creative abilities, and it just has a name now. And so January 1st, 2027, Dirt Road Creative
Nice.
Studios. I'm excited to
Exciting.
see where it goes, and there'll be some new titles under that banner. So looking forward to that. Other than that, we are going to be back next week. Chris and I will be back next week with Rogo. He's also was with Ed and Laurie on their kickoff show on Friday night, and then Rogo was with us yesterday. I had a great talk with him on Ed's show. And he's a fan. He's got his own Kickstarter going, so we'll have him and be talking about Halloween stuff next week and horror stuff. So Chris, you get all your, I know you've got tons of horror stuff to talk about. Rogo's a horror guy, so we'll have plenty more good stuff to talk about. And you'll catch Ed and I on First Impressions Wednesday nights.
Yep.
Miss Laurie will be on the Morning Brew on Tuesday. Who do you have guesting on Tuesday?
Ernie, what's his last name? Altbacker? Give me a second. I forget his last name. I always say it wrong. Ernie Altbacker, yes. And he's going to be talking about his series called Area 51 Studios. It's one of the funniest things I've read. He's a super funny guy. And his book is about like these people that are running basically a reality TV show, but there's aliens involved, and it's just a bunch of shenanigans. And so it's like inside biz, like inside jokes, but it's also just really funny aliens. And I can't tell you, I've chuckled out loud reading his stuff. So he's about three issues into that. Really good.
Very nice. Ed, and who do we have on Wednesday night or Wednesday?
Maisie Owen. We're going to talk about her album, but we're going to be interviewing her Wednesday morning. That's why he was previously engaged. So we have an interview with her, and then we'll play the interview like we did with the Shallow Water one. We'll play the interview, and then we'll talk about our thoughts on the album. So yeah, it should be fun.
I'm glad you sent me the lyrics today because I didn't have the lyrics. Listen,
Yeah, they're not. It's we're picking something so indie that you can't even find the lyrics
Yeah.
on
Oh my gosh.
Spotify or on Genius.com. But that's where I live. That's the world I live in, is the underground music scene, and she's really good. So I'm excited for that.
Yes. Go listen to the album and then join us or join
Yeah.
the show on Wednesday. I try not to give too much away. No, Chris.
Yeah, he said that we are wide
we're
open.
wide open,
We will do any music genre, and we kind of have the limitation of it's got to be fully on Spotify, because if we're recommending it, we don't want them like, oh, we got to go to YouTube or go to Bandcamp or anything like that. It's like, no, we want our listeners to be able to go right to Spotify and play it easily. So that's why we did a My Bloody Valentine album that wasn't our first choice, because the first choice wasn't available on Spotify. So we don't want to force people to have to go buy a physical media copy of anything. So our rules are, if you're on Spotify, not making people have to go purchase it, where if you have your subscription, you can play it for free, then we'll cover it.
We'll cover it. And we've had some really, really good ones. And I'm telling you, go listen to this one that we're getting ready to listen to or talk about on Wednesday. I think you'll be very
Dark on a Sunny Day. It's 26 minutes, but it packs a wallop. It's this beautiful country folk. So good stuff. She's based out of Nashville. So really I guess she has a father who was a big musician. So we'll kind of talk to her about that and see what she has to say. I'm excited to talk to her, because I've been trying to set this one up, and now finally we're getting her before a show. So she's playing a show that night, but giving us the morning.
That's cool.
And we're rating 3 Beer Men. Go check out 3 Beer Men. We got Cosmac, Bruce Q. Wayne, all of them talking over there. If you like talking about pulp culture and things like that, 3 Beer Men is the place for you. Other than that, we'll be back with some great shows this week. Check us out. Chris and I will be back Tuesday, it sounds like now. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that we've got going on. And then other than that, we will see you on the next one. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Ed, for joining us for the show. And we will see you on the next one. And that's it. Bye.